Ladies and gentlemen, please be aware that foul language is prevalent within the following production. Have a nice day.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to The Offenders. As always, I'm not Kyle.
And I'm not Shane.
And sitting next to him is not Evan.
That's true. So to recap, I'm Evan.
And I'm Shane.
Who are you?
I am Mondo, a.k.a. Bruiser Braswell, a.k.a. Daddy Fat Sacks, a.k.a. the guy that doesn't sell dildos no more for a living.
AKA guest number 2 on our podcast from way back in the day?
Maybe?
I vaguely remember you told us some very small, strange bit of history about something in the bush at UGA. You made up some term about the history of the football team.
The yoga pants show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And
that was before Shane was a regular.
Yeah, that was
before. Well, he's always been the man, but
now that he's got more fiber intake, he's become the regular.
Yeah.
Instead of
regular.
irregular.
Yeah.
He's a man who goes to the bathroom when he's supposed to, and that's good. That's good.
You shouldn't go when you're not supposed to.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story.
I always try to go where I'm supposed to.
Yeah,
especially now that I'm older.
That's true.
Dude. I went to go look at a house today because I'm trying to find a new house, and there was a garage, and right when you walk in from the garage, immediately to your left there's a door. I was like, oh cool, there's a closet for all your shit, and you open it up, and it was a toilet and a sink. That's it. It was a closet with a toilet and a sink in it.
In a garage?
No, you leave the garage and you go in the house and there's a door. It looks like a fucking pantry, right? And you open it up and it's toilet, sink. That's it.
It was a water closet, Evan.
That's what I thought it was called, but it's called the oh shit room.
Oh, when you get out, you don't have time to go all the way to the real bathroom.
I think that's where the 1.5 bath comes into
it's
play.
Considered a half bath.
Yeah.
Half bath.
Yeah, those are great.
But the real estate guy said it was called the uh-oh room. I was like, it's really called the uh-oh room? Yeah, he's like, that's the nice way to say it. I said, oh, it's the oh shit room. He's like, yeah, that's the oh shit room. Okay, or the oh piss room.
You just got home and you're like, gotta go.
Yeah, and Modium AD commercial. Gotta go right now. So, I guess, hello, it's been a while. We missed a whole lot of episodes. It's been did we do one before Halloween? Has it been that long?
I don't even remember.
Well, fuck, we had a Halloween, we had a Thanksgiving and a Christmas, and Kyle is gone for a bit. He's handling his responsibilities, some that we could talk about, like preparing the algorithm.
Indeed.
Some that we can't talk about because we're sworn to secrecy, and when he prepares the algorithm, he'll definitely kill us if we tell. So you're just going to have to wait until then. You've got the two of us and a different guest each week. And the guest this week is the one and only Mondo, or as he is also known, guy who doesn't sell dildos anymore, did you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was a professional dildo salesman. Now I'm just a freelance dildo salesman. when I want to be, and that's never. So.
He's working to get his friend Lance out of prison. Freelance dildo salesman. Actually, technically speaking, we were all dildo salesmen.
Yeah,
that's because that's the greatest selling products from there.
Yeah, I'll tell you, because we all worked at a company that sold novelties.
Yes.
And one of my favorite parts was watching the Mennonite women walk in and act like they were looking, at T-shirts, and then just kind of sneak over to the dicks. And it's like, I know exactly what you're doing with your little fucking bonnet on. You're getting the dick. And you're going and you're taking it into the fucking the barn. Is that where it is?
Probably the barn.
In the kitchen.
In the kitchen, yeah. In the kitchen, making the fucking boysenberry pies and sticking the boys in your berry.
Well, I mean, doing. It's I hope I can say this on here, but there's a reason. There's a reason why they have usually have 12 kids apiece.
That's
It's because they like to fuck.
Yeah.
That's true.
And when Zebekiah is out feeding the cows, she needs something to milk the one that's in her panties.
All I know is I'll never forget the frickin' line every time.
What's that?
It's for a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you what, there are some funny motherfuckers out wandering around. They're the funniest fucking people. Are always joking.
Yeah, that one or how this tastes.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
How
I remember the time I tasted it to see. I was like, "There's a broken one in the back. Let me find out."
Man.
It does taste like strawberries.
He's talking about the lube, not the dicks, by the way.
No, the dicks taste like cherry. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
The greatest thing now. Shane was he's usually a cool, calm, collected type dude. Did his job. No worries. Evan was the same way, but Evan is a pretty a smart individual. I say that because one day I was talking to him about upselling, doing suggestive sailing to our customers, and I was like, every time a guest comes up and they buy something, I want you to offer them more. Like if somebody comes up and they have a personal massager, you offer them, I got it. You offer them lube, right? And I'm like, well, I was kind of thinking batteries, but you're not totally wrong.
Do you
I did offer a woman lube and batteries.
Do you remember the woman that came up there with the thing? It's like, it's for me.
No.
You remember that? I was
bless
there.
her. Bless that woman.
She was
God's
awesome.
bless her.
And she asked for batteries on her own.
Good for
I was
her.
like, wow, all right.
That is a proud woman right there.
You get bonus points for not trying to make it up.
For sure.
Yeah, I remember this lady came in one time. This was in the early days when we were working together. And her voice was extremely raspy. And she comes up and she's like, "Excuse me, do you have anything in there?" And I'm like, "What?" And she tries to go louder, and I still could barely hear her. But she's like, "Do you have anything for anal sex?" Dude, I didn't know what to say.
You might want to go to Kroger and get Tylenol.
Yeah.
Or anal G6.
Anal Jesus.
That's what they're called.
Anal Jesus.
That's great. That joke couldn't have worked out any better.
Oh my god.
Anal G6.
Maybe it's because she used the personal massager so much that she's like, how's it going?
Yeah.
Or it can be a 2-in-1. She can go and she can get some the fucking the hemorrhoid cream, what's it called?
Preparation H.
She can get Preparation H for her problem. Then when her rebellious kid decides he don't want the gauges anymore, he can put the anal cream on his ears.
Oh, just shrink it.
They do look like cat buttholes.
It makes sense. Preparation H. The anal cream.
But when you use it
Wow.
on your ears, it's Preparation X.
Yeah,
For
Preparation
Generation
X.
X. Well, shit, it's Generation Y now, I think. We're old. We're Generation X.
Yeah.
God damn. But yeah, so lots of things have changed. Let's see. My band changed our name. We were World Demise. And the reason that we changed our name was, as I mentioned, I've been looking for a house for a while. And I almost got one. I was going into close and I had to go get an attorney. And I walked up to the guy and I was, just kind of making small talk. He was telling me about the payments and all this other stuff. So he said, "So what do you do? What makes you happy?" I was like, "Well, I play in a band." He said, "Oh, cool. What's the name of your band?" I said, "World Demise." And he's like, "That sounds familiar." I was like, "Yeah, it's the name of one of the greatest death metal albums of all time by Obituary." And he's like, "Wait, you're naming your band after the album title of another band?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's kind of like a tribute to them. Let them know what we sound like." He said, "That's not a great idea." I said, "Why not?" And he said, "Because that's the intellectual property of a record label. Therefore, if they decide to sue you, they can take everything that you do that has anything to do with their namesake." And I said, "Okay." So after thinking for a while and arguing with everybody in my band over what the name was going to be, side note, I really wanted to name us Bones Jackson from Mutant League Football, but nobody was having it. We finally decided on Another Day Above Ground. So now we went in with our new name and recorded our new album. And we're getting the final mixes back, which we've been doing for like the last 3 months. And hopefully we'll have some stuff, and I'll put it up on the Offenders Facebook page, and you can hear all of that. And speaking of bands, Bruiser Braswell.
Before this,
Oh.
I have a request for you.
Oh, God. I'm not going to play drums in your band!
No. I want you to get Ryan.
Okay.
And I want you to get him like a helmet to wear.
Episode 6, Ryan.
Yeah. So, and then like, I don't know, get him like a Warhammer or something to hold and have him do the Grimace.
Yeah.
And then on one of your album covers, you have his picture like that.
Okay.
So it's another day above ground. He looks like a dwarf anyway. Yeah. He's just really upset that he's above ground still.
Yeah, instead of being in the mountain caverns. That's fucking great.
That's what you need to do.
Or you can do all that you just said, plus dress up like a groundhog, like a Tommy Fiddle. Another day above ground.
Groundhog.
Yeah.
But sitting here with us is, again, the one and only Bruiser Braswell. I think that's the name that you use officially for Tape Fist, right?
Yeah, that's my official stage name.
Well, hold on. Let's go on a side rant here. Let's try and remember all the stage names that we've used in our band.
Oh, God.
Shane, let's start with you. How many?
You should probably go first, Evan, because it's probably considerably shorter than mine.
Okay. Let's see. When I was in... Oh, I see what
You said you were starting with me.
Yes, go ahead,
I
Shane.
went by C4.
C4?
I was in the band Explosion. But I left Explosion now. And I'm the Explosion member.
Yes! That joke is fucking gold! Explosion! Explosion member C4.
Now you can go ahead.
Okay. Mondo and I, I don't know if we talked about this last time, but we used to be in a band called the Hate Core Junkies. And basically it was just amazingly ignorant, like black death metal. But it was super witty and funny, but it made a lot of people butt hurt because we said some funny stuff. And it was pretty great. Maybe one day we'll find those recordings and put them up someday for people to listen to. But my name first, I think I only went by one name, didn't I? It was Unnameable.
Yeah, a nameable.
Yeah. I don't know if that can count as a name or a lack of a name. I totally ripped it off from H.P. Lovecraft because that's a great story by him. And let's see. When I was in Sugar Virus, I went by the name Perdition. And fuck, I think that's it. And that's the only two names I got. Everything else has just been Evan. I don't think I've been in any other bands that had special names. Now, Mondo's had about 17. Roughly speaking.
At least. Oh, Jesus. The first one I ever had, the first band I was in, it stemmed from me working as a banquet caterer. And I have naturally curly hair. And at the time it was a little bit shorter. So when it got frazzled or whatever, it stuck out. Well, as a banquet caterer, I would have to wear a bow tie. So the person that was... my manager, or whatever you want to call it, used to say I looked like Bozo. So I had that nickname at work, and plus I played bass. I wanted to be all like hip and cool, so I came up with this cool name, Bozo 4 Strings.
Bozo 4 Strings.
It sounds like a bad guy from an 80s beat 'em up game,
It
like at
does,
the end of
yeah.
a garage stage or something.
But then I went from Bozo 4 Strings to like I think Mondo 4 Strings. But then I was looking through a tattoo magazine and there was this guy in there named Tommy Severe or Johnny Severe or something like that. So that's when I switched to Mondo Severe.
I remember
and that
that
was
one.
like my official nickname for like the longest.
Mm-hmm.
And like now Mondo is pretty much my name because I don't really go by my real name, and some people call me like Bruiser. But then after that, oh shit, it was like Mondo Luther King.
That was fantastic.
Yes.
Tommy Destruction,
One of my favorites.
Tommy Rocker. Then the only other thing I could think of, like a couple of years later, would be like Bruiser Braswell. But then I got in this other band, and I didn't want to be called Mondo anymore, and I didn't want to be called Bruiser, so I went by a version of my real name, which is Edward, but I went by Eddie. and the band I was in was a drunk punk rock band called Intoxicated. So I chose the name Eddie Beers, which I heard way too fucking much. So I was just like, just call me Mondo.
How many have you had? I had Eddie Beer.
I heard about any of them.
What you want to drink? Eddie Beers.
Eddie Beer, you got it.
This is Eddie Beer will do.
But I'm sure I've probably missed like 5 or 6.
You specifically got tired of that name because of one of the other band members' girlfriends at the time who would just be like, Eddie Beers. Hey, come here, Eddie Beers. Eddie Beers, what are you doing, Eddie Beers? Eddie Beers.
And that's the reason I got tired of Mondo, because I was like, Mondo this, Mondo do it. Hey, Mondo, what's up? Hey, how are you doing? I don't know who the fuck you are.
That originally came from high school, right?
A little bit after high school.
What was the story behind the Mondo name? Because your name is not Armando. It's not short for Armando.
Armando.
Well, the word Mondo in different dialects pretty much means the same thing, like big or universal, worldly. And I've always kind of been, even though I haven't been fat all my life, I've always been like a bigger guy. I've been 6'1" since I was 12, and I always weighed like over like 170 pounds. So that's where that came in. And they used to call me like friends used to call me like Big Cat and stuff like that because I had this leopard print Kiss hat I used to wear all the time. To go out and get freaking crazy with the bros. So yeah, that's where that kind of came from.
Oh.
But yeah, so now I guess Mondo is my name and my stage name, and I don't necessarily want you in my business name is Bruiser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's to keep him at arm's length name.
Yeah.
And if you get really drunk, you could also go, or you bring the drunk punk band back, you could be Bruiser Braswell.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Where have I heard that before? the same source, huh?
Yeah. These people, that's a fresh joke. That's
Yeah.
fresh. It just got off the fucking presses. It might
Or hope this won't get us banned from YouTube, but I think one that, I don't know if you said it, Ryan said it, or I just came up with it and I never said it, but Loser Fagswell.
One of my favorite fake names that anybody had ever received was a fellow, we'll just say that his name is Rob. He was at a comic book store and he was wearing a cape.
Yeah, his name's Rob.
His name is Rob Simmons, we'll say. Rob Simmons.
Robicus.
And I can't remember the fellow's name, who will remain nameless, who actually came up with it. Not me, I promise. But they had called it, he had saw that he was wearing a cape, and he said, I'm paraphrasing here, he's like, "What's up, dildo faggins?"
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This is called The Offenders. We have nothing against people who are bundles of sticks.
Yeah.
We have nothing against any people, no matter who they want to have sex with. We all love them. You know, that's fine. But that's fucking really clever. That is a really clever joke.
In a funny as hell type way.
Yes, it is.
All depends on what you mean by it.
That's right. We should just make up meanings for shit. Because,
Like
I mean...
everybody else does?
Yeah, exactly.
Like everybody else does. They say something that's like, oh my, I can't believe you said that. What? We're taking this to mean this now.
Exactly.
What are you talking about?
Let's start one right now. We're gonna change a word forever. People who listen to this, you just carry it on. Like if you listen to Chris Jericho's podcast, he's been trying to bring the word cookie into usage for a long time, meaning cool. And I support it. I'm fine with that.
Oh, I'm going to change the words. There's 2 words together.
Okay.
I'm offended. You change the offended to an idiot. So anytime someone says they're offended, they mean they're an idiot.
I'm idiot.
That's what it means from now on.
Okay. If you say you're offended, I'm going to think I'm idiot. But the I will be in reference to you, not
Exactly.
myself. Got it. So when you see...
I'm an idiot for that. I know you're an idiot for that.
So if somebody's acting stupid, we can be like, can you stop being so offended, please?
Exactly.
Oh, man. So I think that's all the pseudonyms we have. And now you're in the band Taped Fist. And what would you consider your band?
We're just a straight up punk rock band.
Punk rock band. Heavily influenced by professional wrestling culture?
People tend to think that because of me. Yes and no. The name Tape Fist is kind of derived from that, but it kind of has like multi meanings.
Give us a few.
All right. Well, if I wanted to sound smart, I would say that Tape Fist just means that you're like prepared for battle, like a boxer tapes up his hand before he goes into box, or you're ready for battle, you're ready for war, you're ready for what's ahead of you, and you're ready to take it, face on, and you're prepared for the fight. The real reason, though, is I was like, every time I have every time, but I've had a couple of new bands break up or whatever, and when I start to form a new band, I just sit down and I think of all the names I can think of and write them down. And right before we formed Tape Fist, I was just sitting there and I was coming up with, I don't remember them, but I think one name was like the Tall Boys, and I remember one time.
That sounds like an oi band.
Yeah, I wanted to call a band like the Cubby Holes or something like that. Just like any.
That's great.
Yeah, just all kind of stuff like that. And
all of you put your book bags in us. We're the Cubby Holes.
Right.
Back satchels.
The Urinals, and I'm sure there's a band called the Urinals.
Probably is.
But
you might piss a couple people off with that one.
Yeah. The Urinal Kegs. Or Urinal Cakes.
Oh, the Urinal Kegs.
The Urinal Kegs. But, yeah, there's going to be like 4 kids to hear this and be like, yeah, man, the Urinal Kegs. Yeah. like get pissed drunk. But in the middle of thinking all this, no fucking lie, out of fucking nowhere in my brain went back to 1995 or 96 with Jim Duggan in WCW when he was doing the Tape Fist thing.
Oh,
and he would get like the tape and he would like swing it around like a windmill around his hand. And I was like, dude, Tape Fist.
There it is.
Got to do it. And like my band beforehand, Pier 6, we had like a lot of wrestling influence with other songs. But now, I mean, we just put out a new CD and
on a record label.
Yeah, on a record label.
What's the name of the record label?
Mystery School Records. It was originally out of Charlotte, North Carolina, but they're based out of Wilmington, North Carolina now.
Oh, great.
And
official rock star.
Do you have to do an initiation in order to?
The Mystery School.
Yes, initiation.
You must fast for 2 weeks in the House of Jupiter.
We have to halfway act like adults to get shit accomplished.
Oh, so wow.
Man, that's rough, dude.
Yeah, But yeah, I forgot what I was talking about.
Tape Fist, and you're not just about wrestling.
I mean, I'm the main I guess I'm the main wrestling guy in the band. That's like one of my favorite things, other than music and food and stuff.
Oh, just pause real quick for those of you who can't see, because this is not a video podcast. I think it's his right hand. On top of it, just says wrestling. Yes,
it is a old school heart and dagger. And there's a banner that says wrestling in the middle of it because it's my first love.
Yep.
But like this new CD we've done, there's two wrestling themed songs, but unless you like read the lyrics and like put like the lyrics under a microscope, they could be any fucking song. Because it's like one song's called Soup Bone, and Soup Bone's just like a fist or something like that, getting punched with a soup bone or whatever.
Ow.
And another song's called Gore Buster, which was a wrestling move. So
I thought it was a joke about Terry Gordy, but it's actually about...
What's that?
Gourd Buster. Who's it about?
Oh, it's about Arn Anderson,
inventor
of the Gourd Buster.
Yes. If it was Terry Gordy, it would have been Gordy Buster.
The Gordy Buster.
Oh, I thought you said Gore Buster first. Now, just imagine Al Gore sitting somewhere, you just bust up, and there's like, I caught you!
Yeah!
I caught you!
Anytime he says some shit wrong, wrong! Dana Carvey from the fucking McLaughlin group or whatever, and saying, wrong!
But yeah, technically there's only 2 wrestling theme songs, I guess. Well, I kind of forgot about hashtag Jack Off the Wonder Beater. Which was inspired by Jim Cornette.
The great Jim Cornette.
But other than that, my songs are pretty much a social commentary. of what I see and what I go through on a daily basis. You know, if it like I write songs constantly. If I'm like out in the club or something, and I'm bored as shit, and I'm usually am bored when I'm out in the club.
Yeah.
It's not really my thing anymore. I'll go and I'll get like a beverage napkin. Well, actually, back in the day, I would get beverage napkins and write down lyrics. But now that we have smartphones, I can just write notes on my phone and never fucking lose them. It's fucking great. But I write about all kind of stuff. I write about depression. I write about friends with drug habits. I write about stupid girl trouble. I try to come up with simple lyrics that people can relate to.
Yeah.
And also can have fun singing.
Now I have a question. I remember your previous band, Pier 6 Brawlers, as you mentioned, was wrestling themed. I've heard you perform Bull of the Woods, which was about Dusty Rhodes. Is that officially going to be a Tate Fist song now?
No, after Dusty Rhodes died, we were like, well, shit, let's play it a couple times. And we did. We probably played it at like the next like 4 or 5 shows, but we hadn't played it anymore. Maybe like the anniversary of his death or something, or a birthday. If we happen to play a show on his birthday or something, we may do it. But yeah, we just brought it back from then.
Gotcha. Man, that's awesome. So what else can you tell us about the world of Tate Fist?
Well, we're I would say a 3-piece band, but I guess technically it's like a 4-piece. It's guitar, bass, drum, vocals. We've been around since 2013. This is the not the original lineup. This is the second lineup. Our old drummer, which is an extremely awesome dude, moved away, so we got a newer drummer. Young dude, awesome drummer. He's plays hard, fast, and with like out of this world freaking precision, man. It's great. I love it. I've been in like 5 or 6 different bands, I guess. This is my favorite band I've been in.
I gotta say, he's great.
Yeah, we all know what we want. We're all on the same page, and those guys can play the fuck out of some punk rock.
Their drummer is a huge otaku as well. Him and his girlfriend are both. It's so great every time I see them because I know I'll get to talk about anime because like I don't really get to talk about anime with a whole bunch of people outside of like Shane and maybe 2 other people, but I see them and it's just like when you walk into a bar and you see somebody you realize you don't have to talk about football or something. It's just like, oh, things that I can discuss that I actually know about.
So Evan, for the Offender Podcast fans that do not know what otaku means, will you please explain it to them?
Yes, otaku is the Japanese word, which depending on who you ask, could mean fan of anime or somebody who is obsessed with anime or anything in general. It just means that you're obsessed with a certain thing. But in general connotation, it is referred to as a fan of anime, but it can also be used as an insult if you're specifically in Japanese society.
Oh, wow.
Is that correct, Shane?
That is correct.
I would think so.
Well, that makes sense.
They sit in Japan and somebody's like, that sounds cool, let's use that.
Yeah. But for all intents and purposes, it's like anything else, like being called a nerd used to be offensive, but now people cling to it, so it's a cool thing.
Or a punk.
Yeah. Or a punk, yeah.
Well, see, that makes sense because I've always been a big Kiss fan, and back in the day there was a website called kissotaku.com.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, that makes sense.
That does make sense.
Because they used to use the Shakara sign.
Oh, awesome! That means strength. Yeah.
Yep.
Power.
Yeah.
Power. And Mondo actually has Kiss tattooed on his hip. He's a old school Kiss fan. When was the last time you actually listened to Kiss, man?
I listen to them every now and then.
Yeah.
Even though I am a singer of a band, and I love being a front man, I love writing songs and singing songs. One thing that irritates the absolute fuck out of me is doing karaoke.
Dude, you're pretty good the other night.
Well, listening to people do karaoke is awesome. Hanging out, seeing people do karaoke, and people who can sing, that's fun. People who can't sing, that can be fun too. I just feel weird singing karaoke. It just sounds like when there's like not a band behind me and there's not actual like instruments, I just feel freaking weird. Maybe it's just like a mental thing. I don't know.
Because you're the sole focus. Yeah, I can understand that because there's nobody else around you, so it's kind of weird singing to something that's not there, and everybody's looking at you.
Well, I have no problem with it. See, that's the thing, though. I have no problem with the attention. It's not that. It's like I hear it different. Like I hear the music different. I don't fucking know.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I often like to perform karaoke incorrectly because I have no problem looking stupid in person. And as a matter of fact, I'm pretty good at it. Accidentally at first, but now professionally, I would say.
Well, maybe I don't like have a problem with looking stupid, but maybe I have a slight problem sounding stupid.
Yeah.
No, you have no problem sounding stupid.
Thank you, Shane.
Speaking of which, let me tell all the Offenders podcast listeners, all three of you, a story about karma. So Mondo and I are both front men, and every now and then you'll hit what people in this culture call a clam. And a clam is when you hit a note off key or when your voice goes out.
I thought you were going to say something about the brown note. You hit the brown note.
Oh, no. Thank goodness that has not happened on stage yet. Well, Mondo and I, both of our bands were playing, was it Ugly Fest? What was the last one that we both played together?
The last one we played together was probably like less than a month ago.
No, I mean like the one in Columbus. Because there's like 17 fests. There's Ugly Fest.
Did y'all play it though?
Fred Fest. Yeah, we both played at the same one.
Whichever one it was.
It was
Nasty Fest.
Nasty Fest.
Nasty
It wasn't,
Fest.
yeah.
Well, Mondo's band was playing, and Mondo had been yelling an awful lot, as he does.
Well, let me interrupt.
Okay.
Okay, so this show was in May. It was actually it was about a year ago. It was like May of last year. This was like the first. Was it May or March? I want to say was it March?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we live in Georgia. The weather's freaking unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
One day it's freaking nice and sunny. The next day it's freaking 40 degrees and freaking raining. And I have extreme freaking allergies. And I'm a hard-headed man and I don't take shit for them. So I was tired because I would work all the fucking time. My sinuses were in a uproar. And plus, this is like our first show. And this was our first show with Tyler, our new drummer. And this is the first time we played live in probably maybe 3 or 4 months. And plus, we played at 1 o'clock in the afternoon in a dusty warehouse, practically outside. And I thought it was a good idea to have beer for breakfast. So
It's got weed in it.
all of the weed.
Wheat.
Oh, wheat. Oh, okay, got weed in it.
Hops.
Jump around.
R.I.P. man.
R.I.P.
That's a different story altogether. R.I.P. man. R.I.P.
Okay, we got to pause the story and go into a side story. We were playing in another band called Sugar Virus, and we were walking around downtown Columbus, and we kept hearing this shit that sounded like it was saying, R.I.P., R.I.P., man, R.I.P., R.I.P. And I was like, dude, is he talking about ribs? R.I.P., R.I.P. And then the guitar player at the time was like, no, brother, he's saying, wherever I am, R.I.P., R.I.P. R.I.P. man. R.I.P. So we were just walking around downtown. R.I.P. for over and over. I'm surprised nobody killed us.
And I just thought the dude had a asphyxiation with brushing his teeth, and he was saying Oral B.
Oral B. As the joke goes, it mutates and has 1,000 faces.
Yeah.
But we ended up finding out that it was R.I.P. And it is a song about a group of fellows performing hip-hop who have displayed their prowess so well that they destroyed the entire club. And they were telling the denizens of the club to rest in peace because they had been slaughtered.
Oh.
R.I.P. So back to the story. So you had a number of exacerbating things songs.
Yes, my voice wound up being exasperated or whatever you just said. But like all those things I just described were like a Molotov cocktail to my voice. And I go up there, and like the first couple of songs are fine. Then we have like we normally play 3 songs in a row. Then I say a little intro and we go into the next song. Well, we play the 3 songs. I go into the intro, and I had this this diatribe. I was going to say something like we're Take Fist and we're like the Rodney Dangerfields of punk rock because we don't get respect. Well, while I said this, I went through puberty like 5 fucking times.
Dude, I'm sorry, I have to perform.
I'm talking about Peter Brady on a fucking different level, dude.
He goes,
We are Take Fist. We are the Rodney Dangerfields of punk rock. Because we don't get no respect.
and in his mind, he realized, man, I fucked that up.
As soon as I did it, the devil that sits on my shoulders and pokes me in the ear and shouts, "You fucked up! You fucked up! You fucked up!" Evan Jones.
I was about to say, you mean Evan?
Yeah. If I'm looking straight ahead and it's 12 o'clock, I see Evan almost to 11, and he just cracks a fucking smile. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, let this end, please. Well, it was probably funny as hell to him and a couple other people, but it was scary as hell to me. Because
Shane's burying his face.
We go into the song, and I start singing.
No way, you cut it out. You tried to say it again.
I tried to say it again, and my fucking voice
and it went out at
again.
the exact same spot.
We are Take Fist. We're the Rodney Dangerfield of punk rock, and we get no respect.
But
And I said,
but then we go into the next song, and I try to sing, and nothing fucking comes out.
yeah, I thought the mic was broken.
Dude, I'm a fucking front man, dude. I'm an entertainer.
Yeah.
I play with people's minds. So I go to sing, and nothing comes out, so immediately, front man, I start hitting the fucking microphone and looking at the cord to make them think there's something wrong with the mic. So this happened like 5 or 6 times.
That's clever as shit.
Yeah, I know, dude.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, so that happened. In a nutshell, it was one of as far as me being a singer, it was the most shitty, scary experiences I've had in my life. But since then, don't get super drunk before we play, and I always make sure that my throat is lubricated before I sing. Fuck y'all.
Now that being said, I mentioned this is the story of karma.
Yeah.
Fast forward a couple months, I believe it was July, and we played Bahama Bob's.
Hot as shit.
Like, seriously, 104, 105 degrees.
The hottest day of the fucking year.
It was hot as shit. And this place, we had mentioned before, it was like a trailer with a fucking fake beach in the back with another trailer that was the stage. And we mentioned that there was the Outlaws and all that stuff. But what happened was the gods of performance were above, and they were like, I remember when Evan Jones mocked Mondo Braswell that time. Seems appropriate for his comeuppance. Now, so I was in the middle of my own tirade, and I was like, even if you don't believe in yourself, I want you to know that you can believe in me, who believes in you.
And guess where I was?
11 o'clock, cracking a fucking smile. Yeah, it was so good, man. And I just knew, it's like 3 months later when your best friend butters your floor after they've busted their ass in the kitchen. You just, those motherfuckers. What are you going to do?
Oh, man.
But I have to, one of my favorite performances that I have ever seen you give was at this fucking, I don't even know how to describe this place. There's a record store, and then above the record store, it's like a giant studio apartment filled with like everything hippie.
Yeah.
Right?
No space.
It's called No Space. And a lot of bands practice there, but it's like this guy's house and he just throws shows there, but it's a big studio apartment. Well, Mondo, he was on fire. His fire was good, brother. He had been working solid that whole goddamn match. And at one point, he just fucking rears up in the middle of screaming. I don't even remember what song it was, but somebody gave him the fucking hot tag, and he grabs this little kid and just throws him across the room. Just picks him up and throws him. And I just see, it's like this little kid with like a fucking crust punk vest, and he's got these big bottle glasses, and I just see him go, ah! And he just like flies across the way. And then Mondo's just like running back and forth. I'm like, what the fuck did that kid do? But he's just up there, and the kid just gets up and he's fine. He's laughing. And I was like, God damn, that was amazing. We just actually saw a bit of a wrestling match at a fucking taped fish show.
I realized you were excited, but there's no sense in throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
I will say this, and I just came up with this. Exaggeration is the most esteemed form of flattery. Because that's not what fucking happened.
You threw that kid, man.
What happened is that I just went forward. I was singing, and I'd start running forward like I'm trying to start a pit or something, and the kid was in my way. And I guess my arm hit him or whatever, and he just goes flying. I didn't like pick him up over my head and body slam him or anything.
Yeah, he didn't slam him down. He slammed him out. Like he flew forward. He flew to the left instead of up.
Right.
Man, it was great.
Yeah, needless to say, we found out how many corners that room had because people were fucking running to it.
It was awesome. Except for our friend LJ, who was quickly texting on his phone as he does it. You ever just tell a joke for like two people because you know that everybody else won't get it?
Yes, all the time.
Well, Mondo. Oh God, what are you?
He's gonna keep talking. I gotta piss.
Okay. Okay. Well, good. Now I can tell the story without it getting interrupted. So Mondo was at a show that he wasn't even playing, and our friend LJ, as we mentioned, is notorious for texting while he is at shows. Well, the band that was on stage was up there talking, and it got quiet for a minute, and Mondo just goes, "In a perfect world, LJ wouldn't text on his phone in the middle of a Gritfinger set." And the guy looks up from his phone and smiles, and me and Clay laugh, and everybody else is like, what in the fuck is he talking about? But all you can hear is Mondo laughing at his own joke over everybody else. When he gets out of the bathroom, he's going to kill me for telling that, by the way. Now, Shane, did you ever see Mondo perform in any of the bands?
Yeah, at that place that had like the tin roof, and it was like going into like hell. The hell of smoke inhalation, that place.
550?
Might be 550.
550?
I know it has like the tin roof, but I saw him in one there.
It was on Riverside Drive, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was.
That's the place that I left, and I was talking like this when I came out.
That's when you began your career as a blues musician.
Yes.
This song is about my woman.
You played there so much, that's why your dick sounds like it does.
Yeah, that's true.
My dick talks like this.
Hey, man.
Boy, oh boy. But yeah, so we've all experienced many interesting things playing live. But what would you say that was your absolute most embarrassing moment on stage?
For like me personally,
Yeah,
it was. But I think when Pier 6 did the reunion show, there was some pretty interesting moments during that show. There was one point where there was like a speaker in front of the stage, and at 550 the ceiling was really low, and there was some conduit hanging from the ceiling, and I'm sitting on the speaker, and everybody's like, moshing or whatever. Well, people are hitting the freaking speaker. So I'm teeter-tottering, and I almost fucking fell off. So I reach up, and I grab, and of course I work it. I don't let people, on to what's really happening.
Yeah.
So I grab onto the conduit and do like a little sexy wiggle or something. And the next thing I know, I pull the motherfucker from the ceiling, and sparks go flying fucking everywhere. But shortly after that, though, I was shirtless. And I was wearing these shorts that were kind of like sagging a little bit. And freaking Ryan Baker comes up. And I have my back to the crowd. I'm looking straight at my drummer. And he comes up and he freaking snatches my freaking pants down. And the whole fucking world sees my big old white ass.
I see a bad moon rising.
And fucking Dan's right in front of me and sees freaking Captain Winky right there in all his glory. I was hot and sweaty, and he didn't see much that night. But I don't fucking know, man.
Oh man!
I think one of my most embarrassing moments on stage was I used to sing for a band called Escape Confusion, which eventually became known as Shikami, and we were playing this Battle of the Bands. And we got up there, and man, we were doing great, man. It sounded awesome. But what wasn't so great was the large puddle of water on the stage that I didn't notice until about 3 songs in. So I'm like walking up, like doing my thing where I'm like walking towards the audience. I'm like, doing all the death metal vocals, and I walk up and I'm like sneaking up to him, and my foot hits it, and I go, and both my fucking. There's film footage of this somewhere. I'm going to find it. All you see is 2 boots, and then you see my hair fly up. So it's like boots, hair, and then Evan's gone. Where did he go? Obviously another dimension. And then you just see me try to get up and act cool, like nothing happened. But in my mind, I was like, I just fell down on stage with the fucking Battle of the Bands. I can't believe it. This is like, fuck, that was like 2002, 2003, I think. Yeah, back before I was cool with looking like an idiot. Now if I fall down, I would probably just play dead. But back at that time, it was greatly embarrassing.
I'm sure that I've done some pretty hilarical things on stage, and probably some
hilarical thing.
Hilarious. That's hysterical.
As you're singing, that makes perfect sense. It's
hilarical.
It's a funny thing as you're singing. That's genius.
But I think the most clever thing I've ever done on stage, though, was the show that me and Evan were talking about at Bahama Bob's. It was outside. It was hot as fuck. And on this little bitty ass stage, they had this big ass fan. So I get behind the fan, and I put the microphone in front of the fan,
awesome.
And I sing like Darth Vader.
That was great. I remember that.
Oh man, that is great.
So now we have to bring up the elephant in the room.
Norton, how are you?
Yes, hello, Babar. Babar. Recently, Mondo's band, Taped Fish, was reviewed in the fairly well-known piece of crap magazine called Maximum Rock and Roll. Mondo, I'll let you take it from here.
Did you just slide that insult in so fucking
Ease it on in there.
What are you talking about?
I barely even noticed.
So, for you guys that are not aware of this publication, Maximum Rock and Roll is a underground music. It started off as a fanzine, but it's basically just like a magazine and or the Rolling Stone of the underground music scene, which means instead of the Rolling Stones are aging hippies, the people at Maximum Rock and Roll are like young hippies, and they shit on. They do they feature bands, they sell shit in their magazine, but the one thing that they're famous for are reviewing CDs and records and stuff, and they always fucking trash fucking everybody. There was this one guy who worked there named Bruiser, and he was the coolest guy in the world, and he would shoot everybody straight, and he'd always write good I think he was the first guy that wrote a good review for Anti-Scene, so him and Anti-Scene became friends and stuff like that. But long story short, we got we put out a new CD. It's called Grounded. It's got 12 or 13 songs. you can hit us up on the Tape Fist Facebook page, or you can go to our record label, Mystery School Records, and pick one up for $10.
Don't you guys have a band camp?
Yeah, we have a Bandcamp too. We've got a few songs on there. We don't have the whole album on there, but we have our demo. We have like a couple of like preview things for the new album. But my buddy John, who used to play in a band called Rape Goat, and he has a band now called Street Clones. He's the potentate and/or aficionado over at Mystery School Records, and every time he puts a CD out, he sends it. What are you doing with your fucking hands?
I don't know. My finger just smelled really weird.
It's like your chin is like in the circle. He's got a circle around his chin, but he's doing a freaking devil horn.
I used to have a goatee, and I can't let it go.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
But every time he puts out a CD, he sends it to Maximum Rock and Roll to get reviewed.
Mm-hmm.
So we knew. Because like Dan, who plays guitar in my band, and he's like in the Best Friends Club too.
Not to be confused with Babysitters Club.
Yeah, but yeah, I call my I don't have one best friend. I've got like 7 best friends, so I refer to it as the Best Friends Club. Mm-hmm. But he's like, dude, when we send the CD in, I know exactly what song they're going to fucking pick out. I know exactly what song they're going to fucking pick out. So I'll get to that later. But so John with Mystery School Records, every time he puts out a CD for his band or on his label, he sends it in to MRR to get reviewed. And I think Rape Goat got a semi-good review one time. But other than that, they always trash everything he sends in. Mm-hmm. So he was like, just be prepared that, they're probably going to fucking shit on you, but fuck them. So, he sent the CD in to get reviewed, and that was a couple of months ago. Then Dan, who actually has a subscription to MRR, sends me a text yesterday, and lo and behold, they reviewed the CD. Oh. And they ripped the CD a fucking new asshole. In their eyes anyway. I can't remember verbatim what it said, but it basically pointed out the fact that we're obviously Southern bearded dudes. he did have a little class and call us Southern gentlemen.
Well, I do declare that was nice of him to say that of you.
Well, that was nice of him to say, but frankly, Scarlett, I don't give a damn. But he mentioned that we were obviously Southern bearded fellows with a love for wrestling, singing about our love for wrestling. And like I kind of said before, I barely have 2 songs on this album that are about wrestling. Mm-hmm. But I guess he saw the name, then he looked at the liner notes and saw that we dedicated the album to Dusty Rhodes and Roddy Piper. So this is a Southern wrestling band. How original is that? So basically, he just says, in a nutshell, that we suck, and we're just a bunch of hicks trying to play punk rock and trying to rip people off doing the whole Southern punk rock wrestling thing. But then, out of nowhere, in big bold letters, it basically says that you would think they would write more songs about wrestling instead of writing songs with a title named, and we have a song that's called "Bite My Dick, Disco Boy." And Dan
that's great.
And the lyrics are suggestive, but I'll give you the backstory on that in a second. But Dan's like, dude, I'll bet you $1 million. We didn't shake on this, but I'll bet you $1 million if they pinpoint any song, that's the song they're going to pick, because they're a bunch of whiny PC buttholes.
Oh, that explains everything.
Oh yeah,
that explains everything.
That's where the preparation H comes in.
Anal Jesus.
Yes, anal Jesus.
Anal Jesus.
But yeah, so they put blah 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 whatever, Disco Boy, and he's like, is like, listen to this stuff, makes me tired, I'm done with this, and blah, blah, blah. So if there's a RO out there, thanks, buddy, because, no publicity is bad publicity as far as I see it. And the song Bite My Dick, Disco Boy is a song about the movie Maniac, a popular late 70s, early 80s film that was remade a couple of years ago. And what's his face? Not Haley Joel Osment. The flipper dude. Elijah Wood.
Oh.
Yeah, they did a remake not too long ago. And Elijah Wood was the main character. And basically, the gist of the film is that the main character is a paranoid schizophrenic. And he goes out and he scalps prostitutes. He gets their hair and he takes them home and he puts it on mannequins.
Oh.
Yeah. And the mannequins are his companions. And the Disco Boy, why I called it Disco Boy, because one of the main makeup artists for the film is Tom Savini. He's a world-renowned horror makeup artist. And he has a cameo in the film. And basically him and his date for the evening go to this park, I guess, make out, because, when you're 30 years old, you got to go to parks to, make out and shit. Well, I guess they're supposed to be like, since it's like the late 70s, early 80s, they're supposed to be like hip disco people. So he doesn't have a name like Larry or Todd or Jack or Sam or anything like that. His name in the credits is Disco Boy.
Oh.
And basically, the main character winds up killing him and winds up, killing the girl and getting her fucking, getting her scalp or whatever. So that's what I named it, Bite My Dick, Disco Boy. And basically, it's just the depiction of his day-to-day routine with stalking girls and scalping them.
Oh.
But
Hurt.
yes, exactly. But if a PC twat listened to this, they would be like, "Oh, he's condoning rape. He stalks women down. He likes to rape them. Rape them fucking whores. Rape them. I fucking hate them."
No, that's the Rape Goat album.
Yeah. Hey, dude, Rape Goat's amazing.
That's one of the greatest names I've heard in a long time.
Yeah, but yeah,
Those people annoy me.
yeah. But the two greatest things about that was, one, that people are going to read that and they're probably going to buy our CD, because there's like tons of people that have told me in the past, especially like not to name drop, one of my buddies, Jeff Clayton from Anti-Scene. He said back in the day he would get a MRR and he would go through and look at the bad reviews, and the bad reviews he would go check out those bands
Because
like
they knew they were going to be good.
Yeah, 99% they wound up being good. So being in that and them trashing us was good, but also we got a comparison to one of my other heroes and friends, Mad Brother Ward, and his former band of the Screaming Street Trash.
Awesome.
But,
So it just goes to show you, art is definitely subjective, and just because one person says that it sucks, doesn't mean that it sucks. So don't be afraid to create whatever the fuck you want to create, because what you make, somebody will probably like it. Some people probably won't like it. But you make it because it's what makes you happy. Whatever anybody else thinks, fuck them. Especially Maximum Rock and Roll.
yes.
And to close this podcast, I would like for you to go back in history just a little bit and tell us the story, the whole story behind the famous Tommy Wildfire Rich song from Pier 6 Brawlers, and how it all ended up playing out.
Okay, well, the name of the song was Tommy Rich versus the six-headed monster with no name. That's a metaphor. A six-headed monster would be a gun with 6 bullets. Six-headed monster, 6 bullets. The reason I wrote it is because when I was a kid, other than like a couple of like key wrestlers, Tommy Wildfire Rich, who was the youngest NWA heavyweight champion of all time. He's like 21, youngest ever. There still hasn't been one younger than him. He was a champion for like a week, not even like a week. He won it one match. I don't even think he defended it or anything. He just lost it the next match. but he was like extremely popular. He was like, to us, when I was a kid, he was like the fucking Beatles or somebody like, or Kiss or somebody like big like that, or fucking like Roger Clemens or Nolan Ryan or like some like big sports figures like that. He was like the face of like Southern society kind of, because you could relate to him because he was like your cool uncle or your next door neighbor, and he was just like, you know, he was the ultimate, what they call the ultimate white meat baby face.
Yeah. Super good guy.
Super good guy. Extremely freaking popular. All the chicks loved him. All the grannies and grandpas, they loved him. All the hardworking dudes out there liked him too. He was accessible to everybody. Everybody could relate to him. So he was freaking huge. He was a freaking god. But when I was younger, the first time I ever met him, well, actually, it was technically like the second time I ever met him. There was a local wrestling event in Americus, Georgia, where I grew up at. And they used to have wrestling shows like once a month at this point. And him and a couple of other local dudes come to our school to just, I guess, to encourage us to come to like the events or whatever. They had like a little raffle giving out tickets or whatever. It was the same. I guess it was Friday. It was the end of the week, and the show was that night. So I had this program that I got from and this was probably like 85 or 86. But I had a program my sister got me for the first wrestling show that I went to from 1982.
Hell yeah.
And I just so happened to like bring that to school. I don't know if I was like, hey, Tom Reese is going to be here tonight, blah, blah, blah. And he started the autograph or whatever. And he comes through and I was like, he's like, yo, buddy, what's up? Because he got a real raspy voice. And he was like, yo, buddy, what's up, man? How you doing, man? Good to see you. And I pull out my autograph, and he's like, hey. I was like, hey, Tommy, look at that guy. He's like, oh, man, you already got one. You can get another one or whatever. And so that happens. Then later on, they were having a autograph session at the local Del Taco. Del Taco was fuck Taco Bell.
Yeah, I agree.
Del Taco was fucking delicious.
Yeah.
I don't even know if the newer Del Tacos have these, but back then they had cinnamon chocolate shakes.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. These things were delicious. But anyway, there was an autograph session, and Mr. Wrestling number 2 was there. Tommy Rich was there, and a local independent star by the name of Steve the Prince Lawler was there. And he was a lot of people don't know this, but he's actually he trained Buff Bagwell.
Oh, no shit.
And a couple of other people. But the reason his name was Steve Prince Lawler, from what I've gathered talking to him and his brother, that there was actually going to be a storyline where he was going to be like a cousin or some distant relative to Jerry Lawler in Memphis.
Oh, cool.
But it kind of fell through. So anyway, he went back to Independence. It was Steve Prince Lawler. Well, Mr. Wrestling number 2 was there, and he was just, Mr. Godlike Mr. Wrestling number 2, and Steve Lawler was there, and he was like, "Hey man, I remember seeing you at school today, and you gonna come to the show tonight?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, I thought that was cool." Then I get to Wi-Fi Tommy Rich. Somebody says something about, I want an autograph. So I get to him, and he is signing. He is not looking at the people when he signs the autographs. He is signing an autograph and pushing it to the folks. And the reason why he's doing that is because on the other side, there was an atypical, fine-ass fucking 80s chick. Big old boobies, big fucking hair. But she had this fucking, like, I guess her little kid or little brother with her. I guess that was her into Tommy Rich, I guess. Because she wasn't going to woo him enough with the big hair and the big booty. And the freaking, the bouffant hairdo she had, as they call it, in her rayon shirt. But I go up there and I talk to him. He's paying attention to the other little kid and the girl the whole time. While he's signing off autographs and just like pushing them to folks. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, screw this butthole, man. I don't need this guy. But then like later on that man, that sounds really fucking bad. Screw this butthole. Horrible.
So you did have something for anal sex.
That's why I was so heartbroken. I wasn't expecting that. But then later on that night, we go to the matches, and he's like back in like Tommy Rich mode, saying hey to everybody. But I guess, long story short, because it's usually short story long with me, I've met in the period of that time up until the time we formed Pier 6, I probably met Tommy Rich maybe like 12 to 13 times. And for some reason or another, I don't know if it's because I was a smart ass know-it-all and I asked him like questions that bugged him or whatever. Because I wouldn't call I am a wrestling fan. I'm not a mark. I'm not a smart mark. Mm-hmm. I know what knowledge whatever knowledge I have about wrestling is, from just watching or whatever. But you can put fucking 2 and 2 together. If you see fucking, hi, I'm Joe the Shoe Salesman, and Joe the Shoe Salesman has a fucking eagle tattooed on his arm. Well, if Joe the Shoe Salesman puts a mask on his face and calls himself the Masked Marauder, even in my little mind, I'll be like, hey, the Masked Marauder has a tattoo like Joe the Shoe Salesman. Okay. So I would have asked him kind of like questions like that, and he'd be like, this, kind of like, piss off kid or whatever.
Yeah.
But he was just always like rude to me. So fast forward to 2005, we get Pier 6, and like the third song I wrote was the Tommy Rich versus 6-7 Months with No Name, and it's basically about, me being young and him shitting on me and, fuck you, it's my turn to seek revenge, I'm gonna fucking kill your ass. So so we decided to record with some guy in like Eastman that one of the guys in the band was friends with.
Oh, let me interrupt for just a second here. I've been to Eastman one time. I went with Chris out there for some reason, and we'll go out there, and you go to Eastman. I don't know if it's always. I guess so, because they don't build these things every day. But you go into Eastman, and there's a sign that says Eastman, looking forward to the future. And you look directly to the right of that sign, and there's a graveyard right there. Okay, I just wanted to tell everybody that, because that's a crazy thing to see when you enter a place.
Dude, that graveyard, it's called Orphan Cemetery.
That's fucked up.
Yes, because our buddy and my bandmate Dan Lott used to live on Orphan Cemetery Road.
That's true.
Oh, okay.
That's true.
Pretty nuts. But so this guy is like, he records us or whatever. Well, he also has an audio-visual company, and he would film local wrestling. Oh. Well, one night, he's there, and lo and behold, Tommy Rich is there. And he just happened to have a CD in his car. So he goes, he's like, I guess he befriended, Tommy, like somewhere, down the road or whatever. And, he's like, hey man, I got something I want you to hear. These guys wrote a song about you. He's like, yeah man, let me hear that, man. That's cool or whatever. So so he listens to it. And I guess what I'm saying doesn't really register. But afterwards he's like, yeah man, that's cool, man. What's that about? And he's like, well, I think the lead singer hates you because you're an asshole and he wants to kill you. And he said there was like 30 seconds of silence. Then Tommy just starts fucking busting out laughing. He's like, man, that's some great fucking shit, brother. So after that, I saw him and we connected, and he was hugging my neck and calling me brother. But then, the next time I saw him, he was back in the fucking asshole mode. It's like he's like somebody else that if I'm ever on the show again, I'll say it for another show. But there is a one-on-one persona. And it's time for you to pay me money persona.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think you probably know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
But yeah, one of the last times I saw him, and I have several wrestling themed tattoos, and one of my tattoos I have is on my chest. It says "Wild Eyed Southern Boys" because I'm a fan of 38 Special. But the first place I heard 38 Special was because Tommy Rich used their song "Wild Eyed Southern Boy" as entrance music. Go down, to the wrestling ring or whatever. So I got it and I showed him or whatever, and he's, oh, that's cool. And about a minute later, he's like at this booth. Like, you go to conventions, and sometimes they the wrestlers set up by themselves. But sometimes they have like sponsors or hosts, like Alabama Championship Wrestling presents live Tommy Rich at the blah 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 convention. So I walk up and he's signing autographs. And over to the side, they've got T-shirts and they got wrestling masks. Because another one of my personal idols and friends now, because I have a tattoo of him, Mass Superstar.
Super nice guy.
Yes,
super nice.
He was going to be there later on that evening. So they had different like masks or whatever. Well, they had like a tiger mask, and I think they might have had like a Mil Mascaras mask or something. So I go to pick it up to look at it, and I put my hand in the mask, and I point hold it up so I can see it, so I can get a visual of how it looks. And Tommy Rich fucking stops what he fucking was doing. It's like, man, why you got your hand in that mask, man? People don't know where your hand's been, man. And dude, it wasn't a fucking joke. He was being fucking serious. And then you know what I said? I said, damn, dog. I said, damn, dog, and put it down and walked away. I said, damn, dog.
Damn, dog.
Yeah, just put it back down and walked away. And I think the next time I saw him, he was cool. It's weird, dude. It's a crazy world we live in.
I got to say this before we end. I will say, meeting Mass Superstar, Mr. Wrestling number 2, was cool because to me, I was introduced to him as one of the members of Demolition, right?
Wait, not the same person.
Wait, which one was the one that we met at Dragon Con? Bill Eadie.
Bill Eadie.
That's a different guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mass Superstar, Axe Demolition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm thinking about somebody else.
Yeah.
Never mind. I do want to say this. That guy, when he talks, he sounds like everybody's grandpa. Because you go back and you listen to his promos, he's like, I'm just going to tell you one time. We're going to go in there and we're going to destroy you. But that's okay. And it's like he's reading a book on tape about David the Gnome. David walked up, and he saw a fox right in front of him. Boom! And he got on that fox, and he rode into the sunset. Boom! And he talks like that all the time. It's unbelievable. And you go and you shake his hand, and it's like a fucking Thanksgiving turkey smashing. It's like, boom! It's a pleasure to meet you. Thanks for stopping by.
That's the calm cool.
Yeah, because for me, growing up in the late '80s, early '90s, in the Attitude Era, when somebody cuts a promo, I expect them to be talking like this all the time.
Yeah. The Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, just anybody. The Macho Man Randy Savage, he was Hulkamania, brother. They just all have that. But not him. He's just always really cool. He never raised his voice.
Yeah, because he didn't need to. Because everything he said and everything he did was a matter of fact.
Yeah, that's well said. It's matter of fact is how he delivered it. And that always stood out to me, because it's like he's got his own style and he's super friendly. Super friendly guy. Isn't Smash like a fucking police officer or something now?
I think Barry Darso, he had Darso's gym up in Minnesota because his son was trying to wrestle, but I think his son was doing he might have wrestled or he might play football for the Vikings or something like that. So I'm not sure. Now Bill Eadie, Mass Superstar, he's a teacher.
Yeah, he's a teacher. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yes. You got any funny memories for wrestling before we get out of here, Shane?
No, not any in particular.
Yeah, we have a history with wrestling, but we'll go into that on another podcast.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so
but real quick, speaking of history, I was almost history last night.
Oh fuck, I forgot about
because I almost got killed for being freaking stupid. I am too inquisitive, aka nosy, for my own good. If there's something to know, I want to fucking know it. If I'm drunk, I want to know it even more. It intensifies my thirst for knowledge.
And let me
You
say
heard it
this.
here, folks.
A couple of car bombs turns him into a fucking detective.
Yeah.
He becomes Peter goddamn Columbo, or whatever the fucking name was. He becomes Columbo as soon as that liquor hits. I want to understand the world.
Yeah.
I was the DD for everybody last night. I took my bass player, my guitar player, and Mondo out, to have a couple drinks so I could drive them around and, have fun. We tried to go get some food. But we won't get into that.
Yeah.
But speaking of food, please continue your story.
All right, so we go out. We have like good time or whatever. Hanging out with some friends. Some of them weren't friends.
Just happened to be in public.
Just happened to be there, and I happened to get hit upon by the most gorgeous Nubian princess I've ever seen in my life. I can't remember what her name was, but she was from Columbus, Georgia. She was tall as me. She wasn't as fat as me, which is always a turn on, but she liked bigger Caucasian men with long beards. And she was playing with my beard. She's like, this is how I can be slick every now and then when I'm not being a dumbass. And she was like, I like your beard. Do you ever braid it? And I was like, well, if I braid it, you wouldn't be able to play with it like this. She's like, yeah, I know. It's like, you got a point there. And I'm like, yeah, that's why I had to do the see you later, so it wouldn't get too
show her the point.
Yeah. But anyway, we're leaving the place. We're leaving the club to close down. We tried to go to this other club, but they were closed too. So we're walking to Evan's car, and as I'm walking, there was like separating the sidewalk or whatever. There was like an alleyway. In the middle of the alleyway, there was this big ass fucking grill, like a big old long grill that was like on a trailer.
Looked like a submarine.
Yeah. So I walk up there, and I'm like, I wonder if they're like, something's cooking or
it's
whatever.
It's like 3 in the morning.
Yeah,
and they're fucking grilling out.
Yeah. So I walk up there, and you could barely see smoke. I thought it was because maybe like whatever. But I walk up there and I touch it, and it's like lukewarm. It's not hot or whatever. And I'm drunk as fuck. And
I had already walked into the car by this.
Yeah.
I didn't know any of this was going on.
Yeah, Evan tends to get the hell out of there sometimes. So he got the hell out of there. But I walk up, and I just lifted. They had big old doors, so I lifted up and looked in there. It was like a plate, like a aluminum like container. It may have had food in it. It may have not had food, but it smelled like food. So me and the person who was with me, who will remain nameless, I shut the door, and I go over there, and I'm going to use the bathroom or something on the side of the wall or whatever. And the person that was with me may or may not have made a suggestion like, "Hey, let's get a piece of meat or whatever." And I almost in the back of my mind thought about, casing the joint and see if anybody was coming and doing it. As soon as I freaking turned around, there was these two big dudes and a short dude. They're like, hey, what are you doing with that grill? What are you doing? I'm like, we just opened it up to see what was in there. He's like, why are you messing with the grill? That's not your grill. Why are you touching it? It ain't yours. I was like, we're just walking down the street, and he wouldn't let me talk. Like every time I said something, it was like, duh. He's like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? I'm like, will you let me tell you? He's like, tell me then. Tell me why you were fucking with my grill. I was like, dude, I walked down the street. I saw this big ass nice grill. I just want to see what was in it. He's like, well, that's not your property. That's not your personal property. So I tell this dude like 1,000 times, I'm sorry, man. It's my bad. The other dudes are being like calm. The big dudes are being calm. But like the chicken hawk, the short dude, he's being fucking, trying to get like ornery or whatever. Then you got me and the other guy with me who's like, kind of smaller or whatever. And I'm trying to get the fuck out of there. I'm trying to get out of the situation. I'm being nice. I'm being calm. I'm being cool. Then the guy that was with me, he was like, he was trying to connect with the dude or whatever. And he was like, we're sorry, man. We understand where you're coming from. When he said that, this dude goes, I know where I came from. What is that supposed to mean?
Oh my
What's that supposed to mean
god.
where I come from? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Oh my
Are
god.
you kidding me?
It sounds like he was offended.
Yes.
Way to bring it back around.
But yeah,
Where I came from?
But yeah, he just starts saying a whole bunch of like shit, and I'm like, "Come on, dude, let's go." And he's
And
like,
me and the other guy, we're just like sitting in the car. It's like, hey, where did they go, man? They must be peeing a real long time in that alley.
"Yeah, man," and we just started walking. The dude's like saying shit like, "Y'all better be careful. All eyes are on y'all." Or, and it was like this. There's this club next to the record store we play at sometimes, and it was like, dude, it was ridiculous. There's probably like 100, like 3 o'clock in the morning, 100 people on the sidewalk, people resting easy against the wall that has the sign that says no loitering.
Resting easy.
Yeah, man, you're wondering like, damn, are those fucking cops standing there in on it or something? What the fuck? Are they in on it, or are they scared?
And meanwhile, from inside that club, it sounds like the dude who is running the thing is yelling through a 1992 fucking bullhorn from Radio Shack. The kind that has extra distortion because it's a piece of shit electronics. So it's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? Can't they afford a normal PA system? What the fuck is he saying?
But the moral of the story is I'm not telling you guys that if you see a big ass grill on the street, I'm not telling you not to look in that motherfucker, but I will tell you this: before you look in there, you better look around and see who's fucking watching. And if there's some meat in there, you can find some meat somewhere else, dude.
And whatever you do, don't tell them you know where they're coming from.
That's right. I understand why he was upset, though. How many you should know this, because how many people have you ever said, "Why you all up in my grill?"
We're not going to top that joke. So that's the end of this episode. We've got more guests coming up. You're just going to have to wait and see who they are. We're going to talk about all kinds of shit. We don't have a real outro because Kyle set that up. So, Shane, you're the next smartest.
What is it? What? He's just like, well, until next time, I'm not Kyle.
Oh, we're doing it now. I'm not Shane.
And I'm no longer Martin Luther King, or excuse me, Mondo Luther King. I fucked it up. You botched it, brother. You fucking botched it.
You fucked up. You fucked up.
I fucking suck. I fucking suck.
All right.